Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with the nation. Rivers emergency declaration. Okpabelu faults Jonathan. Indian woman held at airport with 72 parcels of heroin in chocolate wraps. Pope back at Vatican. Congratulations to the Catholic community. Israel's protest Gaza bombing. Adeleke threatens to depose Obas of warring Ilobu, Ifon communities. Oshomole Oke's highway tolling at kickoff of the 125 kilometers Benin-Asaba Road. Sale of crude in Naira extension likely as committee meets. Inspector General warns policemen against unlawful detention. And Natasha's conduct vindicates Yahaya Bello, says Kogi Senator. Which story are we starting with?
Okay, can we start with the Osun story? So the governor of the Osun State, Governor Adeleke, has told these two Obas, the Oba of Ilobu and the Oba of Ifon, that both of you better tell your communities to stop this, the Olufon of Ifon and the Olobu of Ilobu. And both of these communities have been worrying. They've been having issues, constantly fighting and clashes. And they said over 100,000 people injured, gunshots every time. And so the governor summoned the two of them and me at the governor's side, because I even like the way it was captioned. According to the governor's spokesperson, he has threatened both of them that if peace does not succeed after he has declared, put a curfew in that area, he is going to give them a dethronement letter. And I believe that these traditional rulers know why there are any clashes in any community at all. They are backing most of it, so I'm supporting him.
Okay, let me take the major headlines. So Edo State Governor Monday Okpebolo lashed out at the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, for criticizing the presidential action on declaring a state of emergency rule in Rivers State. According to him, he said that that he described the emergency in Rivers State as an abuse of power. That's according to Jonathan, had described it as an abuse of power. So he went ahead to say that he described the ex-president Jonathan as not being decisive when he was president, because he was referring to how the decision he took during the Chibok situation. Said that the president currently is being very proactive, and he said the declaration of the emergency saved Nigeria's economy. The government further went ahead to criticize the president for not taking a similar step when he heard that they were going to kidnap the Chibok girls back in 2014. He said what President Tinubu did in Rivers State is welcome development and to ensure peace in the Niger Delta. Quite a number of other people have also praised the president. The minister of the National Orientation Minister said that it was painful but responsible. Also, the presidential spokesman Bayo Onanuga also said the Rivers State without the emergency declaration would have been something worse off and better imagined. So a lot of people have celebrated the president. Others have strongly condemned and criticized the president, of which we will discuss later on during our hot topic. But let's take another story in the nation.
Yes, I do have NDLEA, and they have arrested a 42-year-old Indian lady, Mrs. Nitu. She was arrested at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport in Kano with 72 parcels of heroin in wafer wraps packaged as chocolates. They said the consignment weighed a total of 11 kilograms, and you know, she was on an inward clearance of Qatar Airways flight from Bangkok, Thailand, via Vietnam and Doha. Anyway, NDLEA is saying that they have noticed a pattern now of this drug mules, mostly white women or women of foreign nationalities.
So it's easier to
and I think, yes, and you know the thing we have culturally where white people or white light-skinned
privileged
foreigners seem to be treated a bit better.
Different.
So maybe they expect that they will not be searched properly. But NDLEA has Ganusi. You got that, right?
Ganusi.
So you know, she's been arrested. I know that I noticed, you know, some Chinese ladies too, like, you know, in one of their reports. And of course, other arrests have been made across the country, in the north, in the southwest. It's different people. There was a particular incident where he had put over 50,000 pills of tramadol in a cylinder, gas cylinder. They had used, they had welded it off, put the pills in there, and NDLA caught them. So just
I mean,
so many.
we should
Well
get
done.
the best agency in Nigeria. We should honestly
Honestly,
celebrate.
they're
Even they
doing-
should have the Your View
They're doing
Award.
so well.
We should have a special Your View Award for
Yeah.
NDLA.
Yeah.
Just
agencies
for
that
also
are doing
recognition
the
well.
recognition for, I think we should really think
for
about it
doing
because we
well.
read really good reports from
Yeah.
them.
Yes, we do.
PC.
Yes, so I have the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Igbetokun. Yesterday, he gave a directive to officers of the force, and he said that they have to start respecting people's fundamental human rights in handling of, pre-trial detentions. So he stressed that the strict adherence to legally stipulated detention periods is not just a legal requirement, but a fundamental responsibility in safeguarding the dignity and rights of individuals. He went ahead to cite sections 34 and 35 of the Constitution, which guarantee the right to dignity and personal liberty. So in a statement by the Force Public Relations Officer, ACP Olumuyiwa Adejobi, he cautioned against unlawful and prolonged detentions, warning that such practices could erode public trust and confidence in the police. And he reiterated that any officer found guilty of violating these legal and ethical standards will face serious consequences. So he's calling for a culture of accountability within the force. The police boss is also urging officers to uphold the highest standard of professionalism and integrity in their interactions with the public. I hope that the junior officers will be aware of what is going on, because they are the ones that will usually do the groundwork. Let them be trained properly that this is the new directive going forward so that we don't have issues like this.
Okay, let's see. Moving on now to the Punch. Naira for crude. Marketers fear price hike as FG suspends sale to Dangote. Petrol crisis eases in Niger after Nigeria's bailout. 2 US-based Nigerians accomplices face 62-year jail for $50 million fraud. South-South Governors National Assembly plan to reconcile Fubara and lawmakers. Atiku Obi camp tackle Bode George. Shekara all over the anti-coalition comments. Okay, which story?
Let me take these 2 US-based Nigerians. So there are actually 6 suspects, but 2 Nigerians are among the other 6. So one Solomon Aluko and Osakari Nobore are members of the 6-man gang. And in 5 years, starting from 2020 to 2025, they carried out using fraudulent and fictitious checks, carried out fraud in the US. So they would pay into a bank account with fake checks, pay it into their account. They had a partner of the gang who was a bank teller who would ensure that the money gets into one central collection account. And from there, they would withdraw it in cash to their various individual accounts. And they carried out this entire system for 5 years. And the charge sheet said that the defendants and others worked together to steal money that did not belong to them by passing counterfeit, stolen, and fraudulently obtained checks. And they submitted the checks to banks and then withdrew or transferred the funds before the banks would know that the checks were fraud. And they also had their syndicate well positioned. They had what they call their fraud Bible, where they put in details of how their syndicate members will carry out the fraud. So whatever needs to be done, specific instructions on how each member of the syndicate would operate is in that book. And they had attempted to defraud a total of 80 million, but they succeeded with about $50 million in the period in question. They also had a Telegram group where they openly discussed all of this, and the Department of Justice in the US has said they are looking at 62 years in prison for what they have done.
Okay, let me go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.